So there was this one time that I tried to make my daughter's Halloween costume rather than spending $30 to $40, at Target to buy something generic. I thought I could save some money and make something unique. Well, $40 worth of fabric later, a stuck sewing machine, and my mom ending up fixing the costume. I got the costume and spent probably 2 to 3 times more than I otherwise would have. We've all been there where we've tried to be frugal and save money and ended up spending more than we would have saved. On today's Money Article Monday, I am going to read an article that talks about just that. It is called 7 Frugal Fails That Cost More Money Than They Save. But before we get started, if you are new here, my name is Jennifer and I make videos on saving money and leading a simple life. I'm also documenting our journey to paying off our mortgage by the year of 2024 and ultimately just being financially independent. So if any of that interests you, make sure you click that subscribe button. So this article comes to us from moneymag.com/AU, which I'm fairly sure is Australia. It is by Serena Bird and it was written on April 1st, 2021. And as always, I will link the article down below. Check it out. I don't read the entire article. We just discuss what's going on in the article and we share our opinions on it. That's what we do here on Money Article Monday. So in this article, she talks about 7 frugal fails. She says that we've all done it. While trying to save money, we've ended up spending even more money. Yes. Or we end up spending time, energy, and money. The trifecta right there on things we don't need or projects that just haven't worked out. We have the best Pinterest intentions. Should we call it pententions? Pinterest tensions? That inner creative part of us that thinks, I'm going to do that and we're going to save some money. I can make that sign, and it just doesn't work out. It looks like a kindergartner did it versus the picture on Pinterest. Number 1, shifting into neutral while driving downhill. I have never done this. I'm not a big car expert person. I remember my brother trying to teach me how to drive a stick shift in his truck in our front yard. Now keep in mind, we had almost 2 acres of land growing up, so it was fine to be able to drive in the front yard. Weird, I know, for some. Anyway, all I remember doing is digging a bunch of ruts in the front yard. So stick shift, no. And then, the cars that can switch between automatic and manual. No, I'm not switching into neutral to go downhill. That seems like a bad idea, right? She says, in my 20s, I was traveling in the mountainous province of Lanzhou in northern China, and the bus driver turned his engine off most of the way down. Scared? I was terrified. While few Australian drivers would turn their engines off, some drivers are still tempted to shift into neutral to economize. Is that a thing in Australia? Hey, I know I've got people in Australia that watch. Tell me down below, is that a thing to do? She says, according to motoring expert Toby Hagen, going into neutral, aka angel gearing, is a hashtag frugal fail. Maybe I'll use that as a hashtag. Years ago, you could have saved money switching to neutral, he said, but modern engines are designed not to use any petrol at all when not in use. Further, every time you switch in or out of gears, you put pressure on your gearbox. That's what I hear when you do that, and that's what I would think would not be a good thing. And it says, and that will eventually mean you will need to get it serviced sooner. So yeah, okay. So maybe years ago it was a good idea, but no longer. I mean, my car shuts off when it stops at a stoplight. It's got that automatic shut off, which is always just weird. It's my first car that has that. It's also my first car with a backup camera. And I'm not sure how I ever lived without a backup camera. I've had to drive our other car when my car was getting repaired since I backed into the garage door. The backup camera didn't work in that instance because the garage door was already mostly up. I didn't realize that it wasn't fully up, so that safety feature didn't, kick in. I digress. But my point is I had to drive the other car, which doesn't have a backup camera, and it was like I was 15 again. I couldn't figure out. I had to look backwards. That's weird. Number 2 is buying cheap petrol. So that's what this article says. I call it gasoline. That's what we call it here. I mean, I'm sure there might be other parts of America that maybe call it petrol, or obviously maybe in Australia they call it petrol, but it's gasoline for those of us wondering. One way that a frugalista can save money is by filling up with cheap gas at the Bowser? It's a Bowser. Is that the gas station? Okay. We're learning a whole lot of fun stuff with this article. We're not just about frugal stuff, but it is cheaper gas, cheaper in the long run. Usually the car, like the what do you call it, the manual thing, the thing that nobody reads, it's in the car, will tell you what kind of gas to put in the car. And one of the frugal tips I always talk about is when you're buying a new car, check into what type of gas that car takes. When I was researching and saving for 2 years on the vehicle that I purchased last year, I was stunned by some of the even kind of economy brands that were required an upgraded gas. And I just thought, well, that is a cost of operating the car. So that's one thing that you need to look into is, what type of gas that car is going to take, because obviously gas prices are on the rise now. And that's a lot more expensive. So for me, I prefer getting a car, and I narrowed it down to the car types that only required the regular gasoline. So I wouldn't have to pay as much. But let's see what this is. According to Hagen, I'm probably saying that wrong. It's Hagon. Study shows that cars generally get more mileage out of more expensive gas. Oh, is that the case? But if the higher end gas is too expensive, then there's no way to recoup the expense. Gosh, I can't even imagine how you'd have to sit there and try to figure that out. Ugh. To work out the most cost-effective fuel for your vehicle, he advises drivers to fill up 3 to 4 liters of gas, of a particular gas at a time. Monitor the mileage, calculate the cost, then fill it up and repeat. I don't know that that's good for the car. Okay, so this is talking about a whole lot of stuff that I don't know a lot about. If you do, then please let us know down below. Number 3 is using vinegar and bicarbonate of soda for cleaning everything. I'm fairly sure that's baking soda here. Oh, I'm a huge fan of using affordable natural cleaners, including vinegar and bicarbonate of soda, baking soda. I do not like the smell of vinegar, and I know you can make some of those and put essential oils in them to not smell the vinegar, but I just wanted to, I often go on tangents on my channel, so I'm going to go off on this one. In high school, I was in biology class, and there was a girl who was obsessed with the smell of vinegar. There was some sort of experiment we ended up doing, and we had vinegar in a cup or something, and she literally was smelling in the vinegar, and I thought, oh, geez, vinegar? Nope. It just reminds me of dying Easter eggs, I guess. This says, unfortunately, there are times with these ingredients are unsuitable for cleaning. So I guess vinegar and baking soda. You should avoid using vinegar, for instance, cleaning French polished furniture. Well, I wouldn't, or wood flooring or granite or marble surfaces. Yeah, there's all kinds of special cleaners you have to use for that kind of stuff. Furniture polish or wood floor cleaner. Experts also advise not to use vinegar as a rinse aid in your dishwasher, as it can break down the rubber gaskets and hoses. And if those rubber gaskets and those hoses break down, you know what happens, right? Your house leaks. You're running the dishwasher at night and it leaks and it floods your whole house. That is not a good situation. It says, in theory, bicarb is great at removing baked on grease. So I guess if you're cleaning, the oven. But despite the many YouTube clips proclaiming the virtues of using bicarb for cleaning ovens, my oven walls are covered in powdery white streaks. The one time I did use baking soda to try to clean the oven, it was covered in white streaks and I could not get it out. So yeah. This is very interesting because there's so many YouTube videos and people who tell you to use baking soda and vinegar. That is very interesting. Number 4 is similar. It says, failing at homemade cleaning products. I love innovating and experimenting, and that includes making homemade cleaning products. I've featured several in my book, and I have a household hack section on my website. Oh, that might be interesting to look into. Many of them save me hundreds of dollars, but that doesn't mean I get it right all the time. Do you guys make your own cleaners? I have in the past, actually. I tried that whole Dawn dish soap with the shower, the scum on the shower thing. I did try that. She says, my frugal and eco-friendly homemade dishwashing powder was an epic fail. Still hoping to nail that one day. It didn't dissolve fat and grime properly. The pipes in the dishwashing machine blocked and the shelves went orange and moldy. Well, that is an experiment gone wrong. Number 5, trying to save expiring food. They always say, there was one frugal comment, a comment from a subscriber on one of my frugal videos that said, the best buy date is just a suggestion, which I thought was funny. But this says, I am committed to reducing food waste and like to find creative uses for leftovers. Recently, I converted some Beyond Best Before cream into ice cream. Ooh. Now, when you're messing with milk, I leave that to the experts. I don't drink it anyway because I don't drink, I'm a vegetarian, mostly vegan, and I don't do the whole milk and cream thing anymore because it doesn't sit well with my stomach, if you know what I mean. This says, problem, it tasted sour. You think? And my kids won't touch it. Double, you think? In fact, they've been making fun of me about it. Well, even saying I am too frugal. Yeah, that's a story. What's your name again? Serena, that your kids are going to talk about when they're older. Yep. Mom tried to make ice cream out of basically sour cream. Woo. In terms of fails, I invested cream in this recipe and sugar, vanilla, evaporated milk, and chocolate syrup. I think it probably would have been cheaper just to buy a carton at the grocery store. All of which I will throw out unless I convince hubby to eat it. Ugh. In this case, my kitchen creativity was a little off. You know what? We have to applaud you trying though. Good effort. This is one of those fails where you learn from it, and it's a funny story you tell later on at a Christmas party. Number 6. It says OP shopping until you drop. Does OP mean anything? Let's see if we can figure it out by reading this. Op shopping until you drop. I have a fortnightly allowance just for op shopping. I love a good op shop, and I find it difficult to go past the store without walking in. I love the fact that I'm contributing to community-based organizations, encouraging sustainability, and getting bargains. Is that like a restore? Like what do you call it? A thrift store? Is that what that is? Can you have too much of a good thing? Absolutely. There are so many clothes, retro pieces of cookware, china, trios, and books that you need. The problem with op shopping, and I hate to admit this, is that most of the time purchases are wants rather than needs, and if I don't really need it to start with, it's never a bargain. That is actually a good phrase right there. And if I don't really need it to start with, it is never a bargain. We could put that on a t-shirt. Maybe that's a good idea. But can somebody tell me, is op shopping, what does that stand for? Is it short for something? I'm not sure. And number 7 is getting things for Yes, you can get so much stuff. People think that maybe you're just the person that they give all their hand-me-downs to, or all the stuff they no longer want, or you're the person that they declutter and they bring all their stuff to your house because you're so gracious every time you accept it. But it's probably never a good thing. So that's one of the things when I am, there's this one family that we give our daughters clothes to because they have 2 daughters younger than ours. So we will give her clothes or really nice toys that she hasn't really played with. We will give those to them. And I've always said for my husband, because he knows the husband of the family, I said, can you always ask and say, if at any point you want us to stop, please tell us. Now, obviously it's slowed down as she's older because clothes just last longer. And if you hear any beeping in the background, please ignore that. They are paving the road outside of my house. So it was a great day to pick for filming. So getting back to my story, I always ask that they tell us if at any point they don't want us to give them any more stuff, because honestly, I don't want to be that person. But this says, I love my buy nothing community so much I am now an admin. The sharing economy is great for saving money, and I've saved hundreds of dollars each year from things that people have given me. The problem is that it's super easy to commit on items that I don't need. I still have things collected more than 5 years ago that I haven't used. I think you, my dear, might need to declutter. I've got some great videos on how to do that. So she asked in here, what is your worst frugal fail? I would love to know what your worst frugal fail is. I would love to do a video on my subscribers' worst frugal fails. I think that would be very interesting because I have a lot of great people on this channel. And anytime I've done a subscribers' frugal tips or subscribers' grandma's frugal tips, they've just been so interesting to film and for you guys to watch. So tell me what your worst frugal fail is down in the comments. Let me know if you like this video, and if you did, make sure you give it a thumbs up. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I would love to have you back for more videos.